Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to another Webinar Wednesday hosted by the Cal State Bakersfield Small Business Development Center. We're here for webinar number 358. Thank you for joining us today. I will be your host, Kelly Bearden. I'm the director of the center here. Got a couple of great guests, some great programs to talk about. So, as I mentioned, we have some fantastic local programs, some employment programs, some great funding, incentives to assist local small businesses that we're going to help you with today. We have two regular features here on Webinar Wednesday. We have our Capital Quarter, and we also have our Economic Corner. So our Capital Quarter is just going to look at an alternative or two very quickly as we have a full plate. Economic Corner is going to look briefly at some key economic data that we really find useful, and maybe you can help us bring it back again. We'll get into that in just a few minutes. We'll talk about some news and information. Resources will be provided today in the chat. Our producer, Maureen Busher-Dang, is standing by to add resources and things that we discuss, where you can grab and go right there in the chat box. If you have questions, please go to the Q&A box, the questions, or you can put them in the chat. We'll find them there too. But we will answer all of your questions after the presentation today. So resources, questions, and no poll. So we're going to move right along today with a full anticipated schedule of work here. So one thing on Capital Quarter we like to talk about is a lot of the alternatives. You know, we have a rather high percentage of people coming in here looking for funding, and many of those are not being able to be served by traditional, even SBA lenders. But there are so many other resources that are available. We like to let you know some of the resources, some of the alternative funding sources that are out there. So last week, we had talked about one of the unique ones on here. It was basically using your own funds rather than other people's money. Today, we're going to try to talk a little bit about the strategic partnering and joint venturing. It is really kind of an alternative that we don't see used or played enough. Oftentimes, strategic partnering can go a lot of different ways. It can be a relationship that you have with a particular vendor. Obviously, a vendor, if they're selling you something, they have a vested interest in your success. So oftentimes there are even funding opportunities of partnering with another entity or organization. And we've seen strategic partnering happen on rather large manufacturing cases where a business was sold and the seller wanted to retain selling the raw material to the vendor, who came up and actually funded the particular acquisition of that business. So you kept that relationship and kept one of your best customers in place. So it could happen on a very large scale, and we've seen it on much smaller scale. Prime example that I like to use for strategic partnering on a very small scale was a former client who actually would throw some of these craft fairs, and she would do it around the holiday season, maybe the day after Thanksgiving. But a lot of the crafters that she worked with didn't have the money to actually get the goods and get an inventory for the holidays. She would actually loan them the money. They would actually produce the goods and services, sell them, pay them back, and on a very small and limited basis. That is strategic partnering at its finest. You know, we also, along with strategic partnering and Capital Quarter, we also look at joint venturing. And, you know, joint venturing is something that, you know, is also there, but it's a much more structured environment other than the last example I gave. But obviously, if there's a unique, and you see it with a lot of major corporations, you might have saw a kind of a joint venture today that was mentioned that was between Oracle and OpenAI, the artificial intelligence ChatGPT source. So what you found there was basically a $300 billion transaction for actually a joint venture between those two companies. I don't think there's ever been a $300 billion joint venture but it was announced today between Oracle and OpenAI, and it's really a great resource for ways to grow and expand your business. And growing and expand your business, hopefully you get one of these, the big, beautiful bill. And there it is again. My infatuation continues with the $100,000 bill minted in 1934. And so, it works, right? So, a couple things of community interest to talk to you about is we're going to be starting to talk a little bit about the CSUB NextTech's current event, and the NextTech current event is coming up on October 2nd. It is going to be hosted on campus by your California State University, Bakersfield, and it's going to be a fantastic event that has a lot of discussion on AI. And, I have people that talk to me regularly. They keep telling me AI is coming, and I tell them it's already here, and it is here full speed ahead. So AI, really, if you haven't been doing much on there, we're going to be talking a lot about AI in the next few weeks and probably the next few months and next few years. But this event, NextTech Kern 2025, is focused on artificial intelligence, and there are going to be 3 tracks. One of them is going to be offered in academia. There's going to be a track in small business, or businesses like other people like to call it, and also one in security. And maybe, security is a huge issue with AI coming into more of a focus. So 3 tracks, all done on one day. Explore NextTech's Kern. A lot of information that'll be there. It'll be on campus at CSUB, October 2nd. You can actually go and go and register for the event. Maureen will have the link in there, or to find out for more information, click on the link and go that direction. Our next subject matter is oftentimes economic corner. And what I wanted to do is just maybe do what I've done in the past, and that's thank you for your participation with our Federal Reserve 2023 Business Credit Survey. Well, in all honesty, it is the Federal Reserve's 2023 Small Business Credit Survey, but thanks for many of you that actually responded to the survey and actually acknowledged that you were responsible for us getting our own subset of data for Kern County. And we find it very helpful. So, if a new one is coming up, we're going to start talking about that. But the survey is just about 10 to 12 minutes of talking about, your firm's performance, how your business is performing, the challenges that you see. It's a lot of the debt and financial services that you may have used or attempted to use, the financing and demographics, all in that 12-minute survey. But what you do is you yield some great information for us like this. So beyond just the financial information that comes from this survey, we find other demographic information. And here you'll see that, with our subset of data, which was 98 respondents to over 6,000 across the country, we found out that you're twice as likely to respond to the survey if you're from Kern County, if you're a woman-owned business. 44% of the respondents, compared to only 22 nationally. We found that to be an enlightening and fantastic statistic that we want to see if it continues in 2025. And so how we'll find that out is if you respond to the Small Business Credit Survey. We find it impeccable data for actually planning a lot of the topics that we talk about here on Webinar Wednesday. What are some of the issues and what are some of the things that aren't being served, and some of the programs that maybe we can bring you to increase, small business financing and funding for expanding and growing businesses here in Kern County. So, another question that we often get in the webinar is, what are the ways to watch the webinar? Well, you are watching it live, perhaps. Or are you? You could also be watching it on demand. But if you're watching it live, it's here 12 to 1, Webinar Wednesday, every Wednesday. Also, when you do register, even if you don't show up, you'll get a link via email for the recording of that webinar that usually comes out by the weekend. And you can watch it or rewatch that particular information. A lot of the slides that you might not have fully grasped or wanted more information on gives you more time to digest that information that we go through. And also, another way is to subscribe to our CSUB SBDC YouTube channel. And there's kind of a graphic look at our YouTube channel. We're up to 482 subscribers. Wow, 482 subscribers already, 313 videos. Most of our Webinar Wednesdays are there. You know, Webinar Wednesday started in 2013. So, you know, some of those older ones, I think those are still on 8-track or something. So we can't share those. But there are 313. Will you be our 500th subscriber? We're up to 482 as of this morning. I won't know. You're going to have to tell me because I can't get that information. You'll see below the rollover as small business startups. The acronym for it is ROBS, and maybe goes down as one of the worst acronyms of all time. Because if you were on Webinar Wednesday last week, it showed how you used your own money, how to use retirement funds to start a small business. And, you know, a couple of others that of interest that say it's for me is the California Workplace Violence Prevention Plan. And the California Workplace Violence Prevention Plan was enacted last year and actually is on Webinar Wednesday and is a state law, and it's really something that's important. We don't plan on replaying that anytime soon, but it's there and it is for your use if you would like it. So we mentioned our webinar last week, which is in your 401k or IRA. Of course, we don't recommend that. We think your retirement funds should be used for retirement purposes. However, we see many of you that come in every year, many that have maybe want to use a portion of those funds or want to use it to start your business. That was an excellent way. Last week's webinar from Accelifund's Mickey J. Parker. And Mickey was live, and we were in Florida last week from actually the trade show of the 46th annual SBDC annual training event. So that was last week. Our sponsors, of course, we're so grateful for them. Kern County, California. We're powered by SBA, part of the Blue Tech Valley Clean Tech Energy Program. Also, the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. We are part of the College of Business and Public Administration at CSU Bakersfield and SynCal Business Finance Group. Thank you all so much for allowing us to be here. You can contact us for confidential, no cost, no obligation expert consulting. Sign up at our website at csubsbdc.com. Also, you know, when I was at that little conference in Florida last week, there I am in front of a big screen. And yes, that is a very, very big screen TV that showcased 2 actual success stories from SBDCs around the country. And we were so proud that they featured of one of the 2 on Friday, Haley Moore, owner of 10 More Books here in Bakersfield. We were really happy, so much so I had to get my picture in there also, and also just to show you the scale of how big that screen was that I saw it on. Boy, it's fantastic. So congratulations, Haley, for the Association of Small Business Development Centers using your business and your success here in Kern County. Next month, we'll be talking a lot about also is Manufacturing Month. We're going to have a lot of manufacturing resources and a lot of different programs, some new small business lending programs to assist local small business manufacturers. We've had some great successes with some of our local manufacturers, and we want to keep that continuing. Our free human resource hotline for employers, I say ours, it's provided by workforce development boards throughout the San Joaquin Valley, the Central Coast, and also the Sierra Foothills and Eastern Sierra Range. You'll see ours right at the top in Kern, Inyo, and Mono counties, but as a public service, if you're watching this from somewhere else, there are the other numbers that you can call to receive free help from the California Employers Association. We vetted the service early on. It's been a valuable resource to a lot of our small businesses to at least ask that first HR question and get it free of charge. Sometimes it ends there, sometimes it goes on. But it's a great first step in order to go. And one of the programs of our guest, first of two today, Brandon Evans is the Chief Workforce Development Officer for the County of Kern. He brings an extensive background in workforce development and health services for nearly a quarter of a century, designed and implemented workforce services for youth and also adult workers, including partnerships with higher education and workforce development groups. He has managed over 23 million in contracts with various county partners and implements the on-the-job training contracts with employers of Kern, Inyo, and Mono County. And yes, you do know that is one of my favorite of our employment training resource here in Kern County. The on-the-job training resources also serves on several boards. Brandon, it's great to have you here. Come on in live in studio and take it away.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Kelly. What a very nice introduction. Happy to be here with everybody and to share some of the things that the county, and in particular employers training resource, of which I'm the director, offers to all businesses in this county. And so with that being said, we serve as a proud partner of America's Job Center. So we partner with other entities like the EDD and DOR and other various county partners. And Kelly, like you, we serve the same area. So though I'm based in Kern County, Inyo and Mono counties are a part of our jurisdiction, and we do what we can to help supply employers with good services in those counties as well. The population that we tend to serve that becomes a benefit to employers like you is we serve your general adult population, but we also serve those dislocated workers. Those are individuals that have recently been laid off. We serve both in school and out of school youth. And then we are very proud of the work that we do with veterans. What does this matter to you? What this matters to you is the work we do with these individuals helps provide a good pipeline of future employees for your businesses. We also have multiple locations throughout the county, in all stretches of the county. Obviously, we have multiple locations in Bakersfield, but we're also located in Delano, Lake Isabella, Ridgecrest, Lamont, Shafter, Mojave, and Taft. And so whatever part of Kern you might be in, just know that we have an office located close to you. And then back to what we do specifically to help prepare your next best employees. We help them with self-directed as well as individual career services. So we're going to help them improve their resume and their application. Why is that important to you? Sometimes the language you use for your job and the language job seekers are using to describe their skills are a mismatch. They really have what you're looking for, but they don't know exactly how to describe it in a way that allows you to connect with them. And so our services help connect that. But then we also help them with things like, typing certificates, interview skills, because by helping them with that allows them to better communicate with you with regards to their skills and what they're able to offer you if hired. But then more importantly, and very direct to you, we offer a whole host of business services that are potentially very available to helping you do what you do best. One of the things I want to highlight first and foremost is our on-the-job training. So on-the-job training is when you hire somebody new, we will pay you, reimburse you up to the first 480 hours of that new hire's wages. So if you're taking a risk on a new hire and you're not sure if that is a great fit, we can help mitigate some of your upfront risk by reimbursing you half of those wages. We also can help market your positions. If you have a position that's available, we have a whole marketing team that can help get that message out to the general public in a whole host of ways. And so if you're interested in working with us on that, we can do that as well. We also, back to our on-the-job training, we also can do that for some of your current employees. So if you have an employee who is in one position and you need them to skill up so that they can move on to a next level of a position within your organization, you can work with us and we can help do that same thing. We can reimburse you for the upgraded wage that you're going to pay them for that elevated position. And then one of the things that I really like to share, especially with small businesses, is we have facilities, again, throughout the county, but especially in Bakersfield, that you can use for interviews. You can use it for some of your meetings. If you are meeting with people from multiple parts of the county and you want a centralized place to host those meetings, let us know, and we'd be more than happy to help you with that. And so back to how we market employers, we have a whole host of ways that we get the information out on TV and radio, through social media. What you see on your screen right now is just a list of these types of ways that we get that information out. So you get that information to us. I'm looking for another mechanic. I'm going to pay this. These are the skills I need, and we will get your information out for you in all these ways. And so lastly, I just wanted to mention that one of the things that employers really like for us to do is to pre-screen their potential candidates. So we know that you, for one position, you might have dozens of applications and resumes that get turned in. You can work with our job development team. We will pre-screen those applications. We will help identify who those best candidates are, so that what you're doing is not doing all of that work and you can get right to the interview piece and find your next best employee.
Yeah, great. Fantastic stuff. Well, one thing what we're seeing generally in the economy is we're seeing unemployment rates are going up. And so whereas I think a lot of employers a year or two ago, they talked about one of the biggest issues was finding quality people. So now I think that there are plenty of quality people out there, and we'll get into some questions and answers. So if you have a question, go to the Q&A box and we'll hit your questions afterwards. Okay, thank you, Brandon. Okay, so our next guest is Stacy Kuwahara, and she is the Assistant County Administrative Officer for Kern County, overseeing strategy and policy development, economic development, homelessness, and legislation for Kern's County Administrative Office. She has a background as a marriage family therapist and worked in behavioral health prior to transitioning to county administration. Stacy, it's great to have you here today. Come on in here and take it away.
Hi, Kelly. Thank you so much for having me on. I am very excited to be here today. Have a lot of really fun things to tell you about with what we're doing. What an honor. Thank you, Kelly. So first let me go back. I wanted to give you an update. A couple weeks ago, you invited my colleague Jasmine Hernandez in, and she came to talk about Kern Biz, a program that we've launched through the county, a facade improvement grant opportunity that we're running for small businesses in unincorporated Kern that offers up to $10,000 in grants for storefront improvements, security improvements, site improvements. The grant is going forward. We closed the application timeline. We received 58 applications. We're very excited. We're going through those 58 applications right now. We anticipate announcing our awards in October, and we're really looking to learn from this opportunity because we hope to offer Kern Biz Part 2, new and improved, based on what we're learning from this one. So if you've applied, then please look out for more information in October, and we're excited to tell you what the outcome of that will be. So what I wanted to share today is something we're very excited about, is our first economic development website that we've offered here for Kern County. We launched it in June. It's only a few months old. We built it for business owners. We're looking at it for developers, for entrepreneurs, anybody who's interested in starting their business, looking for resources to maintain or grow their business. It's a site where you can get an economic overview for our region. You can find information about various tools that are going to help your business succeed. You can find it through our kerncounty.com website. If you navigate to the CAO section at the top of the kerncounty.com website, under there, you're going to find a tab for economic development. There are a lot of resources on this page. I'm going to talk about a few that we thought would be most relevant for small business development. If you go to the small business resources, it's going to open up some information under, let's see, go to doing business tab, and under doing business, then you can navigate to small business resources. There's a lot of links to local, state resources that are going to help small business locate reputable loans and grants that are tailored specifically to small business. One of the things I wanted to tell you about that we have linked under this page is a disaster booklet. This is a workbook that's been created by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate that really helps walk you through any kind of disaster that you might encounter as a business owner. Very, very helpful booklet. Really worth looking at before you're even in a disaster, to just help you prepare and think about what could happen and what you might need. But if you do find yourself in that situation, meaningful information and workbook. We have a lot of links in there, state, local resources. We also link to all of our local chambers of commerce. We've got our CSUB Small Business Development page linked there, and Brandon's the America's Job Center of California is linked along with our employers training resource. So we hope this is really helpful for you. Anything that's going to help and support business of all size that's looking to grow and develop here in Kern County. One of the things that we've just added to our site that we're really excited about is this property search tool. This is a tool that's been developed and maintained by our partners, the Kern Economic Development Corporation. They update this monthly, and this is a tool that's going to help you find available commercial property across all of Kern County. So if you're looking for a new location, you want to expand your business, then this tool is going to help you with commercial property throughout all of Kern County that's for sale, that's for lease. You can use the filters to really refine your search. It's also going to tell you about specific zoning requirements and really be tailored to any of your specific search filters. So we're very appreciative to KDC to building this out and putting it on our site. We think it's a really, really great tool for anybody looking for commercial property. We have a page specific to incentives for our businesses. These include local, state, and national programs that are designed to support business growth. These incentives might include tax credits, workforce training support, financing programs, any resource that we come across that we think is going to be an asset to your business, then we want to put it out here and make it available and accessible for you. This might help you lower your business cost, accelerate expansion, anything that could be of value. We have information about our local incentive, Advance Kern. This is a property and sales use tax rebate. We are updating this page and this information anytime new information comes to us, anytime there's a change in any incentive or we hear about new ones, we're updating this and all of the pages on our economic development site pretty regularly. And lastly, the last one that I wanted to tell you about is we are maintaining an economic development dashboard. This dashboard was created last year in partnership with Stanford University, and we update the data on this dashboard on a quarterly basis. The dashboard shows information about our economic and business environment that includes Kern's unemployment rate, our average income, wage trends, gives information about building permits that have been issued, the gross domestic product, cost of living index, median home values, number of home of units, and a lot of business information throughout Kern. How many businesses do we have? What are those establishments by number of employee, the industries, the business ownership demographics? It's an incredibly helpful tool to help you understand the wider economic environment for Kern that's going to potentially help you shape, build your business, know what to anticipate, and look at what our business environment is here throughout Kern County. So thank you. Please have a look at our website. We're really proud of it. We think it has some great resources. If you have any suggestions or questions about it, you can contact us through links on our webpage. And thank you, Kelly, for letting me talk about this today.
Well, great. Hey, we got time for questions. So please do go to the question box or put it in the chat. We'll find them. I'm going to start asking some questions, but I'm going to bring my two guests in here and let them get on what I call the big screen. I saw the big screen last week. So let me get the little stop share. And here we go. Stacy, I have a question for you.
Okay.
And then we'll bring Brandon in. You'd mentioned the 58 applications for Kern Biz. And Kern Biz, we did do the webinar on it, but for those that might have missed it, can you give a little more detail on what Kern Biz was, what it is accomplishing, and where it's accomplishing? And then I want to talk a little bit about something that we really like about the program at the SBDC. So
Sure.
take that away.
So Kern Biz really focuses throughout on our unincorporated areas of Kern County. If you are a small business, and unfortunately we did roll this out, so nonprofits are not included in this first round. But if you are a small local business with a storefront in an area of unincorporated Kern, it's an opportunity to apply for a grant up to $10,000 for like facade improvements, site improvements, security upgrades. So if you wanted to install some cameras or some security features, if you wanted to enhance the facade of your storefront to boost your business, or if you wanted to do something inside of your business to enhance it, then this is really an opportunity for you to get a grant up to $10,000 to do that. We received a number of applications. We're learning a lot through this application process, and then we're going to begin the award and the process of kind of monitoring to see what the success of the program is. So we found that there was a lot of interest in this grant opportunity. So we're really looking forward, excited to do this again, make some modifications based on what we've learned, but you know, it's important to lift up the business community. This is a small way to begin to do that in kind of the unincorporated areas that might not have as many resources available.
Well, we love the program for a variety of different reasons. One of them is it really benefits the rural areas.
Yes.
Obviously, there are areas of the county around Bakersfield, but it really benefits the entire county and the rural areas and a lot of the rural businesses that don't have as many access points to capital as others. So one thing that when we first found out about it, what really appealed to me on this particular program was the potential for leveraging. And by leveraging, I'm talking about those, how many ever that get the grant, they have the opportunity now to take that money that is granted through them, through the county of Kern, and actually use that as a capital injection, a capital down payment to qualify for other types of funding if they want funding. The other thing that really works nicely in addition to the leveraging is that we might run into some individuals who maybe want to purchase their facility. So they've had a landlord and they've had landlord issues with the building, with the location. And now this gives them the opportunity to potentially purchase that from the landlord. Maybe they have an absentee landlord that we see a lot of in some of the areas. So those are some of the exciting factors, and I'm really looking forward to seeing number 2 come out. So Kern Biz 2, after, I guess we should get through Kern Biz 1, but
Yeah.
yeah, I look forward.
I think we anticipate the awards to be announced in October. The applicants will have about a 6-month time frame to make their improvements or to utilize their award. And so we're not looking at starting the second round until into next year, maybe springtime.
Great. Okay, Brandon, get in here. I'm gonna get off camera for a little bit because I'm camera shy. You stay there, Stacy. Stay there. Because you guys are gonna be answering these questions, not me. So, Brandon, one of the programs that you had mentioned, that you had talked about, and I also had mentioned, was the on-the-job training program. Can you go through and give an example of maybe even a smaller business example on some of the details and some of the requirements behind this great program?
Yeah, so again, what we are doing is we're reimbursing 50% of the wages for the first 480 hours. So whether you're hiring, you know, you're running a mechanic operation like we've helped with, and you're hiring a mechanic for, you know, $31 an hour, we're going to reimburse you for those half of those wages for roughly, it's 480 hours, but if you think 500 hours, that won't hurt you. And then also, I'll mention this, if you hire somebody who's been displaced from oil and gas, we actually have even more of an incentive that we offer for that. But basically, it's just you making the hire, and we enroll that individual, and then when we enroll them, then we can reimburse the employer for those wages.
Great.
And yeah, we go ahead.
So this is for individuals who want to take that risk, the business owners that want to take the risk, want to hire a position that maybe is something they hadn't done in the past. Who knows? Maybe it's even one of our CSUB grads,
Right.
and you're working with AI, because that's something that's really going to be important for small, medium-sized businesses. But whatever it is, it's going to have some type of a wage demand to it. It's going to have a minimum wage. It's not going to be for minimum wage, but it's going to have a certain level of wage that it's going to need to be paid.
Yes, and so again, it's interesting because when I look at our OJT contracts, there sometimes the wage isn't much more than minimum wage, but then like Cornerstone Engineering hired an engineer at $90 an hour, and we reimbursed 50% of those wages too. So it's just the whole spectrum. And so just to make it simple for anybody in the audience, if you have any hiring needs or hiring questions, or there's something that you wish you could find out in the candidate market, right? It's like I go through application after application, I'm not seeing what I'm looking for. Let us be your easy button. Reach out to Employers Training Resource. Let's have conversations so that we can help you find the people that you're looking for and help make it as easy as possible.
Great stuff. Okay, so let me scan out a little bit and let me go back. We got some questions in the Q&A box. Let's start going through some of those. How is AI affecting what you do? Good question.
It's a good question. I can say for our office, I wouldn't, it's probably affecting what we do, and I just don't realize it yet. We're really new in how we're exploring AI and where we think it's appropriate to use. My job tends to be a little bit spread out over many things, but we are looking at, from a county level, to really utilize AI to be more efficient, effective, faster, and accurate. I would just say AI is rolling out in a very small way right now, but we see a lot of potential for how we want to incorporate it. But we want to be very thoughtful and careful about how we go forward. What do you think, Brandon? How are you using it?
Yeah, in a very similar way. Internally very cautious, but we're also looking for training providers that we can pay for job candidates, job seekers to get this AI training, because we know employees or potential employees who have AI experience and can know how to leverage that in doing their work are going to be much more employable. And so that's been a new area of interest for us.
And hey, I'll come back in here and tell you how we're using AI. We just recently had two of our advisors that were certified under AI University, which is a new SBDC program last week. And we're looking to do a lot on campus with AI as well. One thing you'll find is we have our live plan, which assists business owners with kind of a very intuitive software platform that actually has AI integrated into it. We're seeing AI integrated into our marketing research tool, our vertical IQ. But really, it's going to be a huge area of growth for us in working with small businesses to try to help them implement AI into their business applications. Okay, next question. I live in Inyo County. Would the resources and information on the Kern County Economic Development site be useful for someone outside of Kern County?
I think yes. I think that there are probably a lot of similarities in terms of smaller Central California communities that still relate. Kern has a different demographic and is quite a bit different than Inyo, but at the heart of it, we're Central Valley counties. And many of the things that we're going to be highlighting in our website and our dashboard are going to be universal to the Central Valley. So I also think it's just meaningful to look at what's happening in California. Bakersfield is a large city. There's a lot happening here, and in many ways can be a pulse point for what's going on for our local, our state, and our wider national economy. And I think it's valuable to know what's happening here in Kern, even though you might be an Inyo.
Okay, the next question was, how many on-the-job training contracts can I have at one time? Well, I think you start with one if you don't have one already. But Brandon, what say you?
Yeah, there's no limit per employer. Our on-the-job training contract is the single largest expense for our services to employers. So many employers need it and use it. So yeah, what Kelly said, let's start with one. If you don't currently use our OJT program, reach out to us and we'll get you going. But if you're going to hire 3 or 4 people at one time, we can help with that as well.
What if it doesn't work out? What if you have an on-the-job contract and it doesn't work out? Am I required to go through the full 480 hours?
No, it's up to. So there's no floor. There's just a ceiling. We can't do it forever. But if it doesn't work out, that's like the idea behind the OJT program is to mitigate your risk on the front end. And so if you find that it's a bad fit, let us. Well, you'll let the person go, and you'll let us know, and then we'll do our very best to help you find somebody new.
Okay, in the chat box, let's go to the chat and see what's in here. What if the business isn't located in the unincorporated Kern, but is located in the city?
So this is about Kern Biz. Kern Biz is limited to unincorporated Kern. So we did have to exclude applications that came in that were located in an unincorporated area of Kern County. We modeled our program after a facade improvement grant that the city of Bakersfield did. I don't know if they still have theirs open and operational, but ours is unfortunately limited to the unincorporated areas. And we do have, when the grant was open, there was a tool, and we had a vendor who was helping applicants understand if their property was within an unincorporated area, so that you're not having to fill out the application if it's not going to apply to you.
Okay, continuing in the chat box, we see some resources. If you like what you see, go to Google. Let's see, we want to create a intern partnership to create a better pipeline of talent in Kern County. Can on-the-job training fund this program?
Yeah, so it would depend on the nature of your internship. So the idea of our on-the-job training program is that the employee is going to be hired permanent. Often with an internship, that's not the case. However, if that's what you're looking to do, please reach out to us. Let us find, because it may not be the OJT program that we utilize to help fund that. There may be other dollars that we can use to partner with you on to make your internship successful.
Great. And at the top of the chat, since I jumped in at the bottom, we see a lot of greetings and salutations starting off the webinar. Maureen has also posted an opportunity to subscribe to the YouTube channel that we talked a little bit about. Start and grow. There's the resources to sign up to be a SBDC client, no fee, no obligation. Information on the NextTech Kern, NextTech Kern. Well, that's a tough one. NextTech Kern 2025 at Cal State Bakersfield on Thursday, October the 2nd. There's more information if you want to register. The employment training resources, a lot of their resources, and home employer training resource right there. Jump in, telephone number included. Let's see, some more resources in here. The economic development links that Stacy has gone over. There's a link to those. Also a link to the Kern County property search. Also, the Kern County incentives, Advanced Kern right there. Also, the County of Kern Economic Development Dashboard. So all the resources are right there online. You can jump in and grab any one of those that you want. So feel free to do that. Continuing on down, see if there's anything else in our Q&A, having gone through the chat.
There's one last one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, my business is just about 2 years old. What resources would you suggest I check out for a new business?
You know, without knowing kind of what your business needs are, I'd really encourage you to go on the website and look at all of the links, look at everything in there. Some of the, like I referenced, the disaster handbook. Hopefully that's not a resource you need right now, but it is it's a very meaningful tool to have. And I think it's a very helpful tool to look through when you're not in that circumstance, because it just puts you in a frame of mind of thinking about, if I were in this situation, what would be some of the things that I would need to do? How do I be helpful? And it just helps create a framework in the unfortunate situation if you ever find yourself there. There are incentives that are really tailored toward large business, and we do have some information and incentives tailored to small businesses. We've really tried to pull in anything and everything that we're aware of happening statewide. There are some federal opportunities opening up that we're exploring. We try to update it on a regular basis as new information comes to us. So have a good look through it. The small business resource tab is specifically tailored towards small business, and we continuously update it when new things are coming out. A lot's changing in the environment. A lot of dynamic opportunities continue to evolve. Some of them go away, new ones come back in their place, and we're just trying to keep it up to date and as meaningful as possible.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I do see a question here on resources available in Mono County. Touched base a little bit on Inyo County. And I know Brandon and I had a wonderful opportunity earlier this year to travel and meet with Mono County, and they do a very good job with the on-the-job training program for one. And
well, yeah, so everything that I'm sharing is available in Inyo and Mono County, and we can, even from Kern, we can help make that happen if some technical assistance or something along those lines is necessary. So if you are not already connected locally, if you want to reach out to us, we can help get you connected locally and or partner with them to make sure that you get your business needs served.
yeah, good advice. Okay, well, let's put a wrap on this. Any final statements? Any final things you'd like to say? First, you, Brandon.
Yeah, so I have a very simple message. Let Employers Training Resource be your easy button for all your hiring needs. You are looking to grow your business or you're struggling to find your next best employee, reach out to us and let us make that easy for you.
I second that. And Stacy, you're next. Final comments.
We are continuously working to make Kern the best place to start your business, to grow your business, to see your business thrive. So we are excited to be here, excited about the resources that we can offer you, and looking to continue to improve on the opportunities here in our community.
Great stuff. Okay, well, that's going to put a wrap on webinar Wednesday number 358. Wow, 358. So you have plenty of resources. There's great resources from the employer's training resource, a little agency we call ETR, that wonderful acronym. And also the County of Kern, out of the administration office, they have lots of resources as well. It'll be interesting to see what comes down in October with the actual Kern Biz #1 actual award winners, and then moving on to Kern Biz #2. We'll let you know once that's about to open and give you plenty of time to get your applications in. However, that might change probably after the first 3 years.
Oh, easily.
Into
yeah.
next
spring.
year.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the timeline we're going to be looking at, and we'll come back and have more information on that for you. We'll be back next week for webinar Wednesday number 359. So until then, for the guy you can't see, Brandon Evans, but he's there. And for Stacy Kuwahara, I'm Kelly Bearden. We'll see you next time, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.